Good evening, all the joinees. Hello, this is Prajakta. I would like to warmly welcome you all on behalf of NGEN Research. So meanwhile others join, what we will really do is I will introduce the topic for our today's webinar. So a discussion today will predominantly revolve around mutual fund analytics. In mutual fund analytics, what we will specifically look at is the performance of a fund vis-a-vis a benchmark. So we will definitely see how we can dynamically manage as to as to which benchmark we can compare its performance against. We will first, benchmark it against a specific index. Then we will then build a custom benchmark and allocate some weightages and see how we can build a custom benchmark as per our requirement and really do an analytics of the performance of the mutual fund. In addition to that, we will also see how we can compare its performance with a category average. Next, we will then move ahead and understand the up capture and the down capture ratios, which will tell us its performance in a bull run and a bear run. Then moving on, we will have a look at the asset allocation, the concentration analytics, and of course, the holding analytics of a particular mutual fund. Once that is done, we will then move ahead and do a peer comparison of that specific mutual fund with its peers with respect to the drawdowns analysis. And of course, on an individual fund basis, we will understand the returns distribution analysis, which will tell us what is the probability of that particular fund in generating returns in a specific return range over, of course, a specific time period. We will have a look at that distribution analysis. Next, moving ahead, we'll have a look at the charting tool, which is a recent release. This was released a couple of months ago, and we will see how we can apply technical analysis using some indicators like a Bollinger Band or a relative strength index on not just stocks but mutual funds as well as indices. So generally, of course, speaking, technical analysis is much popular for stocks, but we will see that using this tool you can also use these parameters for analyzing mutual funds as well as index, for a example. Let us now begin. Of course, in the end, we'll definitely throw the forum open for a Q&A session wherein you can unmute yourself and ask your questions. Let us now begin. So for that, let me just go to the NGEN Markets platform. So this right here is our NGEN Markets platform. In order to choose a specific category and then do a mutual fund analytics, today I have, let us just choose a large cap category. So for that, just head over to fund section. In the fund section, there's a filter categories tab. Just choose a large cap fund. And then just choose that as a checkbox and then click on close. All the large cap funds will then get loaded. Once that is done, let me apply some filter parameters as to I want to include only those funds who have a reporting history, a minimum reporting history of 10 years. So I'll go ahead and put in a minimum age criteria as 10. And then I would like to have only those funds for analysis for one particular fund analytics who have at least a AUM of 2000 crore and above. So I'll just go ahead and put in these parameters. Once I've put in, I click on apply, and my universe is then restricted to only these many funds, which specifically follow or meet our criteria that we have just specified. Once this is done, we will then take all of them to the compare section. You can just click on the add top 50 to compare toggle button, and all the 12 of them have now gotten added in the compare section. Now, as to which fund we analyze, let me just take an example as to the fund that attracts the highest, has the highest AUM under management. That is the one fund that I would like to analyze. So for an example, in this case, IPRU Blue Chip. So let me just click on it, and it will get open in a new window, and let me analyze this for you today. So I just click on this. A new tab will open up wherein the entire analytics of this specific fund gets open. So firstly, we can see that its performance is being benchmarked against a Nifty 100. Okay, which is a respective benchmark for this fund, as this belongs to a large cap category. So first of all, you can see the blue line is the fund performance line, vis-a-vis a black line, which is the benchmark line. So let me interpret this for you. So for an example, here you can see the common start point of 100, but let's say I want to look at the actual NAVs. So there's a checkbox given right at the top. You just have to click on it and you will see the actual NAVs of the fund that you're analyzing with plotted against the benchmark. So it is but obvious that the benchmark, which is Nifty 100, will have a higher level. So it's currently at 18,722 Nifty 100. So the prices of Nifty 100 are plotted on the y-axis, however, on the right-hand side. So just focus here. This is the side where you should be looking at for the benchmark figures. So these are the scale wherein the benchmark is plotted against. So you can see the current levels are 18,722. On the other hand, the blue line, which starts from 13 rupees, 13.67 rupees, and that is the actual NAV of the fund that we are analyzing. So this starts from a start date of 2010, but of course this can be changed. So let's say I want to do this analytics for a period of, let's say, last 5 years. So I just change the start date and choose the start date that I want. So for an example, I've chosen 5 years, and now do the same analytics. So actual NAVs, and this is how as on 19th of June 2018, the actual NAV was 39.98. Now, if let's say you want to download all of these historical prices from 2018 on a daily basis, daily NAV movements, all you need to do is there's a button right at the top, Excel download button. Just click on it and make sure that you have ticked on this box, which is actual NAVs. In that case, whatever download comes will be actual NAV movements of this fund daily. Of course, alongside would be returns. So let me just open that for you. 1 minute. Okay, so this is the Excel that would get downloaded, and you can see the price in 19th of June onwards. Still, of course, the latest, that is yesterday's closing price. So 22nd June, the NAV was 73.24. And of course, alongside that is the returns. So daily returns is what we calculate. With respect to as the NAV change every single day, the returns are calculated on a daily basis. Now, let's say with respect to these comparison, you would like to do a fair comparison of this fund. So in this case, if we choose actual NAVs, of course, every single time the benchmark will always be above the portfolio performance, the fund performance line. That's simply because it has a higher level. So for an example, that's the reason we have given a rebased prices option. So if you just untick on these actual NAVs, you will see that the common start point for all of these analytics will start from 100, which is the common start point for both of them. So what we have practically done is we have rebased the prices with respect to the index as well as the fund prices, and then that's a fair comparison between as to how has the benchmark given returns in that specific time period vis-a-vis the portfolio. So in the fund in this case. So you can see that there's a clear outperformance by iPro blue chip fund from 2018 vis-a-vis the benchmark, which is Nifty 100. Now, if you have checked on this and then you take a dump, then of course this will be rebased prices. It will start from 100. Now, once this is through, we will now understand how we can change this benchmark to compare the performance of this specific fund against, let's say, a category average. So this belongs to a large cap. This is a large cap fund. So let me just go back to NGEN Markets. This is the benchmark, checkbox right here. So in this benchmark option, just choose NGEN, which is a second tab, and right below reference indexes, there is a tab called as historical SEBI category averages. If you just type here large cap, the performance of this fund will now be compared against the category average. So this category average predominantly includes all the large cap funds trading in Indian markets, and of course their average. So that is how you can check if a particular fund is outperforming the category average or not. So this analytics will definitely be helpful while deciding an outperformance or underperformance of a fund when you're screening mutual funds. So now as we have added a category average here, you can definitely you can choose what benchmarks you would like to benchmark this against. So for an example, let us choose an exact benchmark. Of course, this is a large cap fund, but it would have some allocation to a small cap or specifically mid cap. For that, to check that, let us go to asset allocation and directly go to concentration analytics. Here is specifically the place where we will understand if this fund has any exposure to mid cap or small cap stocks. So here we can see that 81% is coming from large caps, 6% is coming from a mid cap, and a close to 1% is coming from small caps. Of course, this others is some cash that the fund might hold, and of course some reverse repo and all of that. So for that, I mean, the detailed analytics is definitely available here. If you just click on overview, you'll be able to see that there's 9% in cash, right? There's some 0.5% into debt as well. So if you just want to drill down, you can definitely check what is this 0.47, and this is a T-bill, the 364-day T-bill. Other than that, it's just equity. So for an example, if you would like to do a exact benchmarking with respect to these exact exposures, so vis-a-vis this specific fund, so let's say the large cap is 81, mid cap is, let's say, 6, and a small cap is 1. So what I can do is add a custom benchmark to benchmark this performance against. For that, I just click on custom, I go to manage custom indices, this new tab gets open, and then I would like to build an exact benchmark to benchmark its performance against. So a Nifty, for a large cap exposure, I will take a Nifty 500. I will give it an allocation of 82%. Once this is done, I will click on add one more index, which is a mid cap. It was mid cap exposure was close to 10% odd. So let us add that as exposure here. So mid cap 150, add index, and then give it a allocation of 10%. Next, small cap was some 1% odd. So let us add a small cap as well. So small cap 250, I click on add index. I give it an allocation of 1%. And of course, the balance was, let's give it like a T-bill index. So CCIL T-bill index is what we would like to, add. And the remainder of 4% will be going there. So this is how you can build an actual, depending upon the concentration of the fund, exact benchmark can be built. Let me name this as example. Once this is done, click on Save Custom Index, and this is the exact benchmark with the exact weightages that you have built. Of course, as we go ahead in months, this weightages will change. In that case, all you need to do is we just click on Custom Indexes again, Manage Custom Indices again, and then just you can see, locate this example IPRU, just click on Edit. Okay, and all of these weightages will come up, and depending upon the the concentration, the changed concentration of the fund, you can change the allocation and then save the benchmark again. For now, once we have added this, all you need to do is now change it to the example one that we just built. We click on example one IPRU, and the performance of this specific benchmark will get appeared here. That definitely can be done. Let me just keep it to category averages for that matter, for current sake, and then let us proceed with the analytics. So yeah, large cap fund category averages. Yeah, so now this is being benchmarked against the category average. Now we can really see that since the past 5 years, the category average has generated a return of 71.62%, vis-a-vis the fund in this case has generated a cumulative return meaning absolute return of 83.19%. Of course, this return performance is the absolute return from 2018 onwards. If you want to have a look at the annualized return, that's definitely right here. The CAGR compounded is 12.79, vis-a-vis the benchmark of 11.33. On the other hand, if we have to just have a look at the volatility, so the category average volatility is which is the standard deviation of the category average is 17.65. On the other hand, in this case, this fund is definitely takes a more risk than the category average risk, so 17.94. That typically is reflected even in the Sharpe ratio and the Sortino ratio. So Sharpe ratio is typically the risk adjusted returns that this fund generates, and risk adjusted meaning the excess returns that it generates, taking into consideration per unit risk that it takes. So we can see that in this case, it has a 0.37 Sharpe ratio, vis-a-vis a benchmark of 0.30. So higher the Sharpe ratio is better. That is generally considered for all the equity-oriented instruments. Similarly, we have another parameter called as a historical value at risk. So in case of historical value at risk, how do you interpret this? So this can be interpreted as the value that is invested in this fund, that is at risk. So at a risk of what? At a risk of losing. So for an example, what this is saying is there's a 5% chance, 5% meaning 100 minus 95, because there's a 95% confidence interval. Therefore, there's a 5% chance that the worst losses could go down as worse as negative 23.65. So in other words, if 100 rupees is invested, this fund, there will be a capital protection of 77 rupees and a capital erosion of 23.65 rupees. So that is how you interpret historical value at risk. And this takes into consideration the annual return, annualized returns, historical returns to come up with these numbers. Moving ahead, we have excess that the fund generates over the benchmark. So here we have the benchmark as a category average. So the excess return that this specific mutual fund has over the benchmark is on a cumulative basis 11.57, cumulative meaning all the 5 years taken together, and annualized terms it comes to compounded comes to 2.30. Next we will have a look at the up capture and the down capture. For checking the up capture and the down capture, let me change the benchmark to a Nifty 100, which is the original benchmark for this fund, and interpret this for you. So let me go back to NSE and add a Nifty 100. Once this is chosen as a benchmark, now I'll be able to see what is the performance of my fund in a bull run and a bear run. So why do I call up capture as a bull run? That's because if you just click on this I button, you will see the benchmark column figures are only those months when the benchmark wasn't positive. So for an example, July 18, August 18, directly November and December. So that's the reason only these many months are there. That's because only these many months the benchmark wasn't positive. So for an example, in July 2018, the benchmark went up by 5.70%. On the other hand, the fund in consideration went up only by 5.15%. So cumulatively from 2018, the benchmark went up by 60.87. On the other hand, the fund went up only by 57.76. That's the up capture ratio. So ideally, if we were to check out performance, up capture which is higher than 100 is definitely desirable. On the other hand, the down capture ratio tells you what is the resilience of a fund in case the market is in a bear run. For that, just click on this I button and you will see that cumulatively month on month, the benchmark went down by negative 36.90. On the other hand, this fund went down by negative 33.11. You can, of course, have a month-on-month split right here. Of course, in this down capture, you will see only those months when the benchmark returned negative figures. So that's the reason only negative figures are appearing right here. That's the up capture and down capture ratio. If you scroll down, you have the monthly distribution of the returns that were generated by this fund over the time period that we have chosen. So from 2018, number of months they have really happened is 61. Out of these 61, there were 38 months were such when the return of this fund was above zero. That's the reason they are up months. And there were 23 such months when the return was below zero. That's why they are down months. So of course, their percentages are here and what are the best and the worst returns in these up and down months. That's the monthly statistics. Alongside that, we have yearly statistics. So from 2018, there have been number of years and their calendar year returns are appearing right here. Next, moving on to the next part, which is our asset allocation and the holding analysis part. So if we come to asset allocation, we will have a look at all of the holdings that are there. Of course, as on 31st of May 2023, the AMCs come up with these holding details as on month end. So this data is currently available till 31st of May 2023. And these are all the holdings that are really there in this mutual fund as on 31st of May. Once you want to, let's say you want to see what are the cash exposures, just click on this and you will have where is this cash exposure coming from. There is some amount of foreign equity as well. So if you just click on this foreign equity, you can see that 0.81% is the foreign equity and it is coming from the stocks named as Wells Fargo and Cognizant, right? Then moving on to the concentration analysis. Concentration analysis will tell us as to how much does the holdings of the fund contribute to the overall holding percentage. So for an example, in the concentration analysis, we come to know that the top 3 holdings of this fund. So top 3, which are the top 3? Just come back to overview and these are the top 3. So ICICI Bank, Krebs and Reliance Industries. These are the top 3 securities in the fund. And these 3 contribute to an extent of 26.50%. On the other hand, top 20 out of the entire 75 holdings of this fund contribute to an extent of 77%. So if these top 20 in a hypothetical case underperform, the chances that your overall fund performance would take a beating will definitely be higher. On the other hand, if these top 20 securities outperform, 77% of the portfolio performance is dependent on these specific top 20 securities, and then there would be definitely be outperformance that would be generated by this fund. So that's the concentration analysis, and this will definitely help you in deciding what is the out of the total holdings, what are the major holdings of the fund. Next, moving on to position changes by month and over time. So in position changes by month, we can actually decide as to, actually determine as to with respect to the previous month, what were the largest increases and what were the largest reductions that were made. So for an example, in this case, with respect to 30th of April 2023, HDFC, the position in HDFC was increased by this fund, and the largest decreases was in HDFC Bank, for an example. In this case, new positions that were taken up vis-a-vis the last month was Hindustan Unilever, and the position removed was Nippon India, Nippon Life. Okay. Next, moving on to position over time. In positions over time, we will have a look at how is the fund managers, behavior of taking up positions in sector as well as securities. So let's take an example of by sector. So if we just click on this by sector, we can see that in banks as a sector, this fund held 25.08% as on 31st of October 2022, and this has changed to 17.96 as on 31st of May 2023. You can definitely have this analytics for any of the sector that you want, and really explore the fund manager's performance or behavior with respect to its holdings. Here you can also do a security wise analysis by just clicking on by security, and of course there's a toggleable button wherein you can check this performance holding with respect to percentage or shares in lakhs. So let's say if I choose shares in lakhs, I will have a look as to if there are any more additions that is being done, or it's a mark to market that is happening. So for example, ICICI Bank 382.72 in April, and some shares were sold from ICICI Bank, and that amounts to now 368.90 lakhs. So that's the position over time. We all have also seen the concentration analytics. Here we have the equity sector. So that was definitely evident in positions over time. But if we were to check the top 10 sectors that this fund holds, we have the details right here. We have also provided a drill down here. So for an example, you can see that in IT software, there's 10.29% holding into this fund. If you just click on this, you will have the underlying securities as well. So Infosys, Tech Mahindra, TCS, Wipro, HCL. So these are all the securities from IT software as a sector. So that's about the asset allocation, the holding analysis. Now moving on to next part, which is the peer comparison. So for peer comparison, you can definitely head over to peers tab, which is right here, the third tab, wherein you will be able to see the category average performance. The category average CAGR is 12.23%, of course, from 2018. And on the other hand, the fund CAGR is 14.06. And the same analytics is available for even 1 year, 2 year, 1 month to date, year to date performance as well. In addition to that, we have also listed all the peers of this specific fund and their performances. So for an example, if you were to sort this on the basis of CAGR, you can see that from the period under consideration from 2018, the highest CAGR is by Aditya Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity Fund. And of course, with respect to the Sharpe ratio, if you were to just sort this on the basis of descending to ascending, we will see that Sundaram Large Cap has a highest Sharpe ratio in this category of 0.77. That's a peer comparison. You can definitely do a peer comparison in the compare section. We will just head over to that section for doing a drawdowns analysis. And of course, distribution analysis will directly do it from here. So in order to understand drawdowns analysis, let's go back to the compare section and do a drawdowns analysis for all of its peers. So this was the list that we had just specified, 10 years minimum age and 2000 as a minimum AUM. Once we are here, there is a drawdowns analysis tab, which will help you in doing a drawdowns analysis for the entire peers of this specific fund. So we can see that from 2010, let's just maintain a common start date of, let's say, 2018. And let's say 1st of June. And then the drawdowns here will start from 1st of June 2018. And in this case, if we were to just sort them as per size, we can see that HDFC top 100 had the drawdown of highest size of 41.04%. And this lasted over a period of 263 days. So this 41% drawdown happened over a period of 263 days. And then after that, the fund took 190 days to recover from this loss. On the other hand, the fund that we were just analyzing falls somewhere in the middle with a loss size of worst drawdown loss size of negative 37.36, which happened over 67 days, and the recovery was in 166 days. Now, if we were to sort them as per the quickest recovery, all you need to do is sort the heading as recovery, and we will see this as lowest to highest. So in this case, we have Canada Robeco, recovering from its entire loss the quickest in 144 days. On the other hand, IPRU falls somewhere in the lower quadrant. It's fourth or fifth last, which takes 166 days to recover from its worst drawdown. Right. So that's analysis that you can definitely do with respect to peers. Now, if you want to further drill down into a singular fund drawdowns analysis, all you need to do is either click on this tab, which will open a drawdowns analysis of a specific fund, or alternatively, what we were just doing, we were doing a detailed drawdowns analysis of this specific mutual fund. So for that, directly head over to drawdowns tab, which is our third last tab, wherein if you just click on this, you can see that from 19th of June 2018, we have the loss sizes mentioned right here. So we can see that the NAV of the fund fell from 45.21, that is specifically the start price, and it's kept falling from 45.21 to 28.32 over a period of close to 2 months. Right. So 16th of Jan 2020 to 23rd of March 2020. So within a month or two, this drawdown was of a size of 37%. And after this, the fund took 166 days to recover this loss. And this recovery happened on 10th of November 2020. That typically tells you the resilience or the strength of the fund to recover from its loss. So depending on this, you can definitely see a trend of the historical drawdowns and the time to recover. And you can say that in specifically jittery times or volatile times, you can say that, let's say a client holds in this specific fund and is the returns are negative, so you can say that this specific fund has never taken more than 166 days to recover from any of its drawdowns from, let's say, 2018. So if you stay put for some more time, your loss will definitely be recovered. Of course, this is based on historical data. So that's the drawdowns analysis. This can definitely be done on the peer level in the compare section, which we just discussed. Next, moving on to the distribution analysis. Distribution analysis is a fairly statistical analysis of the returns distribution. So what this tells you is the best performing month, or for an example, a day, what has been a best performing day, which has been experienced by this fund, and which is the worst. So for an example, if we consider the distribution analysis on a singular day basis, we can see that from 2018, there have been 1,220 working days. Out of these 1220 working days, which is indicated by the observations right here, out of these, 637 days were such when the single day return, mind you, and of course, this is for a mutual fund that we are having a look at, not a stock. A single day return ranged between positive 0.03 to positive 2.12. If you were to check at the best, best single day return that was generated by this fund, just head over to the extreme right hand side, whichever bar you can see on the extreme right hand side, just hover on that, and you can see that the frequency is 5. That means out of 1220 days, 5 days were such when a single day return that was generated by this fund ranged between positive 4.21 to positive 6.30. And of course, the worst case scenario, if you were to have a look at that, just head over directly to the extreme left-hand side. And we can see that there were 27 such days when a single day return from this fund ranged between -4 to a -2. So this is the drawdowns distribution analysis that you can do. Of course, you can change the frequency. Currently, it's single day. We have an option to check it for 1 week as well as 1 month. So let's say we want to check this for 1 month and click on run. We can see that from 2018, there have been 62 months. And out of that, highest, that is 28 months, which is the modal frequency, by the way. Modal means the highest one that has back tested. So the modal frequency is 1.10 to 5.17. That means there were 28 such months where a single month return generated by this fund ranged between 1.10 to 5.17. So you can definitely have a look at the frequency table right here, which will tell you which out of the total 62 months, how many were up months and how many were down months. So this analysis can definitely be done from the distribution analysis. Now we can definitely move over to the technical analysis of using the charting tool. Just before that, let me show the reporting options. So for an example, if you were to download all of this analysis that we just did into PDF, we have definitely given you a 3-pager PDF option where you can just click on this and a 3-pager PDF will get generated. Of course, we have recently added in a create watermark of your own organization name. If you just click on this before generating a PDF, a consolidated PDF that will get generated will have your organization name watermark as well. So I hope my PDF is visible and you can see the watermark appearing right here. So we have all the details, the NAV, the latest NAV, the name of the fund, its riskometer, and of course its top holdings. Because it's a consolidated PDF, we have restricted to the top holdings, and of course the equity market cap exposures, the sector-wise exposures, banks, IT software refineries, the rolling analysis. Of course, the performance chart is right here. This is where you can understand what were its returns, CAGR, cumulative return from the time period that you have chosen, and that time period gets appeared right here. Okay, so 19th of June 2018 onwards. If I were to check this for the last 10 years, all I need to do is go back to the platform, change it to 10 years, and then click on create PDF. Then the analysis will be for the last 10 years. If you just scroll down, you have the rolling analysis and of course the drawdowns analysis. That definitely comes up in the form of a PDF. If you want to show a detailed analysis, we definitely have a PowerPoint option wherein you can definitely highlight something called as a scenario analysis. Scenario analysis is somewhere you can definitely consider a specific scenario and show what was the performance of the fund in that specific scenario. So for an example, Adani fiasco for that matter, this fund actually generated fell a little less than the benchmark. So benchmark during this scenario fell by negative 3.47. On the other hand, the fund fell by only 1.37. So that is something that you can definitely highlight using this scenario analysis, and then take a section specific screenshot and include that in the case of a PowerPoint that you can then definitely download. That's about a singular fund analytics and the mutual fund analytics. Let me now go to our main platform and show you the charting tool. So for charting tool, it's located right here at the top. So you will see the statement analyzer, monthly SIP, SWP, and this is the charting tool. If you just click on this, this will open up in a new tab. And we will see all of the technical indicators that you can really do on the left-hand side panel. So currently it's Nifty 50. Let's, for an example, do this analysis on the fund that we were just analyzing. So iProve Blue Chip. I will just search for the fund right here. So once this is loaded, I can see the NAV getting plotted right here. If you want to change the time period for that, you just have to scroll at the bottom. I hope my screen is clearly visible. You scroll at the bottom. 1 second. Okay. So you scroll at the bottom and there is a time scale given right here. So this is a time scale wherein you adjust your time series from. So let's say I want to do this analysis only for the last 3 years. I just squeeze this to 2020. So that's 3 years. So yeah, let me adjust this. So this is from 3 years. It starts from 2020 now. And now if I were to just plot what is the current price, I would just want to attach a label to it so that I understand what is the current price that is ongoing. Just click on this last icon. It will just flag the latest NAV that is ongoing. Of course, this will be 22nd June NAV. So it's 73.24, which we were just seeing right here, right? 73.24. Once this is done, now let us understand how you can, let's say for an example, flag certain events. So I can see that during, 1 second. So this is the time period when COVID, there was there were lockdowns and COVID just came up. So this is a drawdown time, which is a COVID time. What I can do is just add a flag and just plot it here. saying that this scenario was a COVID scenario. I will name this flag as COVID. I click on add. So if I just hover on this, this was the loss period due to COVID. If I just go ahead and plot it somewhere here, there was a consolidation in 2022 wherein there was tech layoffs were happening, and there was a volatile times in the market. So you can definitely add a new tag here, saying this marks the drawdown because of the 2022 consolidation that took place in the market. Additionally, now what we can also do is use some technical indicators, like for an example, a Bollinger Band. For that, just click on this, the first option right here, wherein if you just click on this search indicators, a window gets open wherein just search for a BB, which is a Bollinger Band. Just click on this, a new window will open up. And just the two standard deviations that is generally typically standard, and just click on add. If you do that, a Bollinger Band level will get added. This is the upper band, and at the lower hand, the lower side is the lower band. So you can typically, what you can make out from this is, as the price of this specific, basically the NAV momentum of this fund, as it tries to cross the upper band, which is right here, for an example, it is an indicator of an overbought market, right? And then after that, there is a likelihood of a correction. So that's the reason you can see there's a fall from here. When there was a slight, when the NAV of this fund crossed this upper band of the Bollinger Band, there was a slight correction. On the other hand, you can see in this case, when it crosses, as in goes below the lower band, there happens to be a oversold position for this specific fund. And then after that, there's a slight recovery which takes place. So that's typically visible even here. So as the moment it crosses this lower band, there is a slight recovery. That means the NAV will go up, and the oversold position basically will be liquidated by the market. Of course, this technical analysis has a limited use or a less explored use, at least as of now, for mutual funds, extensively used for stocks, but this could be a good start. So we have provided the charting tool for you. You can definitely explore many tools that are available. Currently, we're analyzing a Bollinger Band. So the upper band, basically when the NAV crosses the upper band, it definitely indicates an oversold position. And when it crosses the lower band, it is, upper band is an overbought position and lower band is the oversold position. In addition to a Bollinger Band, what you can also do is add a relative strength index, relative strength indicator. Just search for a RSI. And add that, and it also gets plotted at the bottom. So once this is done, click on add, and you will see the RSI has gotten plotted here. So how do you interpret RSI is the moment it crosses 70. So 70 and 30 are the points that are to be noted for RSI. So so right here. So the moment the RSI indicator crosses a figure of 70, that really tells us that bulls are in charge, right? So after that, there would be a likelihood that there would come up a slight correction, and then the RSI level will again be taken down below 70. And then when it goes below 30, for an example, that is a case of bears in charge. So bears are in charge, and then after that, there is probably a likelihood of a correction, and you can see a slight up movement in the RSI, wherein it will try to take up the NAV, and it might go between 70 and a 30. So those are the key indicators that you should be looking at. And then do your analysis accordingly. So this is for the technical analysis. There are a lot of indicators where you can add a daily moving average, you can add an exponential moving average. You just have to search for it. So EMA is exponential moving average. You can just click on this and add it. It will get added right here. In order to delete some of them, all you need to do is go back here and then click on edit. If you want to remove, let's say, a Bollinger Band, just click on remove, and this will get removed. Now we have a EMA and a RSI only. So this is something that you can definitely do. What you can also do is measure. So between a time period, what was the highest that the NAV had gone? What was the lowest? Just click on, for that, just click on measure tool, which is the third tool. One second, which is a third tool right here. And after that, just click on, let's say, for an example, this one. And if you just click on it, and plot it here, you can see that the minimum NAV during this time was 36.424. The maximum NAV during this time was 62.24. So this is something that you can definitely do between a time period. Wherever you want to plot it, just plot it and do the analysis. That will definitely help you in understanding what the NAVs were. So that's the technical analysis of part for mutual funds. Similar to this, you can also do this on stocks. Of course, we have a host of stocks. So all the BSE stocks you would like to do this technical analysis on, you can directly load it and do the analytics on that. In addition to that, you can also do this on indices. So when we loaded this, Nifty 50 was loaded. Let me just show how you can load a stock similar to where we chose a mutual fund. Just choose a stock there. So let's say, for an example, Hindustan Unilever, just search for it. And you can start the analytics, add as many indicators as you like. Just see the current level. So currently it's 2668. You can definitely do the entire analytics for even a stock basis as well. So that's about it from my side for this topic related webinar. Now you can just ask the questions that you have. You may type it in the chat box. You can directly unmute to speak. Thank you.
If there are any questions, please do let us know. Thank you. Okay, if there are no more questions, Priyanka, we can close for today.
Yes, sir. So thank you everyone for joining in. You can definitely do check out our YouTube channel for all the webinar recordings or also the short videos that we have uploaded. For that, directly head over to the YouTube channel, which is videos button right here. If you click on this, you'll land on our YouTube page, wherein there's a playlist dedicated for the webinar videos, which is right here. And we will be uploading the webinar, today's recording as well, by Wednesday or Thursday next week. In the meanwhile, you can definitely check all the previous recordings. So let's say, for an example, you've missed one of the webinar or you would like to hear it again, you can definitely go ahead and watch the recordings here. So thank you everyone for joining in. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you again.